Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going on a deep dive right to the DNA of organizations. We're talking about the hidden operating systems that control how they work, how they innovate, and, ultimately, whether they succeed or fail. It's really a tale of two very different ways of getting things done.
So let's start with a question. Think about your own team, your own company. Is it a symphony orchestra? Every single person has a specific part, they follow the conductor, and the goal is a perfect, predictable performance. Or is it more like a jazz band, where you've got these incredibly skilled people who are improvising, playing off each other, and creating something brand new right there in the moment?
And look, this is way more than just a cool analogy. It points to two totally different philosophies of how you manage and collaborate. One system is all about precision and efficiency, executing a plan you already know just flawlessly. The other one? It's built for adaptation, for discovery, for figuring things out as you go.
So let's put some names to these ideas. The orchestra, that's what we call a hierarchical system. It's top-down, super structured. Everybody knows their role. The jazz band, on the other hand, is an agent-based system. It's decentralized, and amazing things just emerge from how all the individuals, or agents, interact. So throughout this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how these two systems think, learn, and lead.
All right, first up, how do these systems actually learn? And this is so important because the way an organization learns tells you everything about its priorities. Is it trying to perfect what it already knows, or is it trying to discover something totally new? So our orchestras, the hierarchical systems, are absolute masters of what's called continuous learning. This is all about getting better and better at what you already do. It's this constant process of making small, steady improvements. You revise things, you progress, you make tiny changes to get more and more efficient. And you can see how structured this is, right? It shows up in formal ways, like company training programs. It happens socially through mentoring and teamwork. And of course, people do it on their own by researching and learning. But the goal is always the same: refine what you know and build on that solid foundation. But then you have the jazz bands, the agent-based systems. They play a totally different game. They rely on something called emergent learning. Now, this is not about making small tweaks. This is about learning from doing, from constant experimentation. This is where the big breakthroughs, the disruptive ideas, what our source material calls raw novelty, really come from. Now, it might sound like total chaos, but there's actually a method to the madness. It's a cycle. You start with a hypothesis, you ask some smart questions, then you get out there and you experiment. You figure out your ground truth by comparing what's happening now to what happened before. And finally, you draw some conclusions, which of course leads you right into your next hypothesis. It's a real engine for discovery. So this gets us to the really crucial point here. The structure of the system basically dictates its outcome. A hierarchical system with its structured process is built for refinement and efficiency. An agent-based system with its experimental process is all about adaptation and creating something brand new. Okay, so if these systems learn differently, you can bet they're going to use different tools. Let's take a peek inside their toolkits, because what they use tells us a whole lot about what they value. We can pretty much split these tools into two big buckets. You've got your soft tools, which are usually visual and all about clear communication. And then you have your hard tools, which are much more analytical, mathematical, and built for prediction. The soft toolkit, this is the home turf of our hierarchical systems. Think about things like org charts, process maps, diagrams. Their real power is that they're fast, they're transparent, and they're easy for everyone to get on the same page with. They're all about clear communication and alignment. Now, the hard toolkit, that belongs to the world of the agent-based systems. Now we're talking about things like algorithms, complex computer simulations, mathematical models. These tools are completely data-driven. They're built to predict what might happen next and optimize for the best outcome. They are incredibly powerful, no doubt, but that complexity means they can sometimes be a bit rigid when something totally unexpected happens. So we've got different systems and different tools. But what about the people leading the charge? The human element, leadership, is where these philosophies really come to life. And you guessed it, we see two very different approaches here too. The leadership guru Warren Bennis just nailed it with this quote. He said, "The leader innovates while the manager administers." And that's not just playing with words. It's a huge difference in what you focus on and what you do. One is about maintaining, the other is about creating.
Let's really unpack that because it's so important. The manager's job is to administer and maintain. Their focus is on the systems, the structure, making sure that orchestra plays perfectly. But the leader? The leader's job is to innovate and develop. Their focus isn't on the system, it's on the people, inspiring that jazz band to create something amazing together.
And this brings us to a style of leadership that really captures the spirit. It's called transformational leadership. This isn't just about managing tasks or handing out assignments. The whole goal here is for leaders and followers to actually lift each other up, to get to a higher level of motivation and even purpose, together.
And the cool part is, it's not just some vague idea. There's a real framework for it, known as the 4 I's. A transformational leader acts as a role model people want to follow. They paint an inspiring vision of the future. They challenge their team to think differently. And they take the time to coach and mentor each person. It's really about empowering people to become leaders themselves.
So, after all this, which system is actually better, the orchestra or the jazz band? Well, you might be realizing that's kind of the wrong question. The most effective organizations know that the real goal isn't to pick one. It's to figure out how to get the best of both worlds, how to blend the precision of the orchestra with the amazing adaptability of the jazz band. And that leaves us with the real challenge for any leader, for any team. When does a situation demand that structured, predictable approach? And when do you need to let go and embrace the messy, experimental breakthroughs? The key takeaway isn't about choosing a side. It's about learning to read the situation and knowing how to combine these two incredibly powerful ways of thinking to get truly remarkable results.